Patrick Cook. Welcome to session 42 of Mastering Mandelbulb3D Formulas. So in the last 3 or 4 sessions, we were stepping through building our own Mandelbulb scene. I was using alternate hybrid mode. I had brought a couple formulas in. We played around with some of the formula conditioners, iteration count, R bailout, that sort of thing. And I was kind of trying to show you that that you can get off to a really good start with your Mandelbulb scene, and really even before you even get into the property values. Now, certainly building your own Mandelbulb scene from scratch is certainly it's a way to go, and it's a good way to go too. What I have found is that it's important from a learning standpoint to look at other people's work and kind of see what they did. See what their results were, see what kind of formulas they used and how they mixed them, and that sort of thing. And you get a pretty good idea after you look at enough of them that you can kind of get a sense for where you would take your own Mandelbulb scene. And so that's what I wanted to do in this session. I wanted to go find somebody's Mandelbulb properties that they put up online, load those into the Mandelbulb3D application, and take a look. This is part of learning how to work with formulas. All right, so let's do that. Now, there's a lot of properties, property files, I guess we can call them, that people have made available over the years for the Mandelbulb3D. You find a lot of them up on deviantart.com, but there's one good place that I think has done a pretty good job, and that is, let me turn my browser on for you, that's this Mandelbulb Maniacs website, all right? It is www.craftweb.org/maniac. I'll put the URL up on the screen for you. Now, I'm not saying that these are great. I'm not saying that this is where you have to go. All I'm saying is that this is a place where we can go grab some what are called properties, or sometimes referred to as parameters, pull them into our own Mandelbulb3D application and take a look. So let's do that. All right, so this set here is by this gentleman here, Rick Estridge. All right, and these are his Mandelbulb3D scenes. All right, and a lot of them look pretty interesting. All right, what we're interested in here is grabbing a hold of the set of properties or parameters, bringing them into our own application so we can take a closer look. All right, let's see. Okay, what's good? Well, how about this one right here? So this one right here. All right, so here is a set of parameters. Now, if you recall, well, maybe you don't recall, but if you go back to my tutorial series 1, there was a point there when I was talking about opening and saving what are called parameter files, or M3Ps. If you take a look at our application here, we can open an M3P, that's the file extension, MP3, M3P, and that is a parameters file. All right. Now you can also bring in parameters off of the clipboard. Now I'm in a Windows environment. Mandelbulb3D only works in a Windows environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this set of parameters for this particular Mandelbulb scene, and I'm going to do a Control-C and copy that to my Windows clipboard. Now I come into my Mandelbulb3D application, and if I click on From Clipboard, it's going to pull those parameters in. All right? All right. So now I do a Calculate 3D. All right. And I have the parameter set that I just captured from this particular website. Okay? All right. So I'm going to make a slight modification here. Good. Okay. All right. So now let's make it so that we can see it a little bit bigger. I'm going to go 800 by 800 so that we fill up our entire screen so that we can take a look at this better. Now what I want to do is I want to look at the formulas and how this Mandelbulb scene was constructed. I want to learn from it. Okay? I want to learn from it. The first thing I can tell is that this particular Mandelbulb scene has been created in the alternate hybrid mode. I see here that he has used 3 formulas. All right. And I see here that this last formula is a transform. What I've determined is that this particular Mandelbulb scene has 2 formulas in it that are both escape time, and they're both 3DA. A meaning analytical. Analytical means that we're allowing Mandelbulb to determine the DE values internally to the application. 3DA and 4DA formulas tend to render faster because the formulas are enabling Mandelbulb to work optimize the DE values internal when it processes the formulas. So these 2 formulas I have determined are both 3DA, 3D analytical. They're both escape time, and they're both in the analytical category. All right? Now that's important to know. It really is. It's important to know. If I had looked at this and I discovered, look, he's using a 3D and a 3DA formula, the benefit of the 3DA formula is lost because it's being combined with an escape time that is not analytical. All right. So 2 analyticals, the Mandelbulb application will perform the DE optimization. If you have one of the formulas that's not an analytical, then neither of them will be analytical. Okay, all right, so I'll tell you what, let's pick this up in the next session. We're going to continue to analyze this particular parameter set, and we'll take a closer look at it and see where it goes. I'll see you in the next session.